Our pastor, Cindy, challenged us for 3 weeks to go out each week and ask if we could be a blessing to someone. And the first week I thought I would do it, didn't really have the nerve to do it. The second week it didn't get any better. The third week I thought, you know, I can't go to church next Sunday unless I have blessed to be a blessing to someone. So while I was in the restaurant, I got up the nerve to ask the server. She was so gracious about it. She started to tell me about her son who was in Iraq, and it meant more to me than it ever could have meant to her.
One of the things I am passionate about is meeting people where they are spiritually and praying for them. And we have engaged for a year and a half or so in a program called, it's not a program. It's not a program, it's a movement. Blessed to be a blessing. Asking people, how can I ask God to bless you today? And a lot of that is with people in the hospitality industry, but I do that wherever I find myself. My favorite place to pray with people is in the parking lot, Walmart, whatever. It seems that's where people unload and they share. I was recently on sabbatical and traveling, and I met a woman who was just starting to share her life experiences with me. And at the end of that, I said, may I pray with you? And her eyes filled with tears, and she said, I can hardly even say it, she said, no one's ever prayed for me before. I mean, she was in her 40s. No one's ever prayed with her before. So I prayed with her. And that has marked me. I'm more fed by that than perhaps she is. I was doing some more traveling and I ran across her again. And she said, I was hoping you'd come to this conference. She said, I need to tell you what's going on in my life. And she was having some struggles. So again, I prayed with her. The other thing I was able to offer her is I almost always carry prayer shawls with me that are made by our prayer shawl ministry. Some of these are even just little remnants, pocket shawls. And I said, I want you to have one of these. You may not know it, but there's a community that has prayed into this shawl, lots of love and care. And when you hold this, I want you to know that you are loved by God. Now, she's never going to be a member of my church. I mean, she's in another state, but that kind of stuff happens a lot. That was just one of the more recent and more dramatic. Maybe this sounds counterintuitive, but I'm no longer looking for the church of 1,000. I'm content with what we have if they are growing spiritually, if they are hungering for Jesus, and if, but literally by the grace of God, we can feed that hunger. That's what I'm looking for now. That's,
I want to add in one other thing.
Okay.
And I may
Chuck E. Cheese?
No, I may use it with some pictures, so it matters
Okay.
less. It wasn't saying. Tell me when you started, who was sponsoring that plant,
Okay.
and sort of
Okay.
a little bit about.
Okay.
And she said, can I sit down? And she did. And she told us exactly how we could bless her. As she was talking, another waitress dropped by, overheard that. She sat down. Well, I knew my lobster was going to be real cold by the time I ever got to it because they were talking to us about the things in their lives. And I go to this restaurant a lot because it's run by a dear friend of mine. And so now we have a little prayer circle every time I go there. And it's interesting how that evolves because I get follow-up, because I go back to the same place. And that follow-up sometimes is right remarkable in that those blessings seem to have had an effect that is tangible in these people's lives.
And if you're reluctant to do it, it is hard when you start, but once you get going, God gives you the words to say. So go out there and do it. It's a wonderful experience.